Welcome, everyone, to the Hoops Frenzy podcast. I'm your host, Dean Holzwarth, joined by my good friend, Andy McDonald, and it's March Madness, baby.
Sure is. Well,
February Madness, because districts for boys is a week early.
They start early. I mean, whatever. The NCAA championship goes to like the first week of April.
Correct.
So there you go.
Exactly. That's not April Madness. I mean, it's just a.
But no one ever brings that up. No one ever brings that up.
No one ever brings that up. So, yes. So, February Madness going into March Madness.
No doubt.
Yep. Regular season finales for all boys teams tomorrow night. Some tonight, I think, as we get ready for next week and districts throughout the state of Michigan.
You got anything for us other than trying new basketball stories right now? Anything going on in life that's fun?
My life has just been busy. My daughter is playing varsity girls. I was on the varsity team at Tri-Unity as an 8th grader, so that's been very exciting to watch her kind of learn and grow and get some minutes and get some experience. So that's been fun. So basically, it's I play and I watch her play, and I'm on the bench for the varsity. So just busy times.
No doubt. That's the good stuff.
And work's going good?
Yeah, no, it's great, man. I mean, like I said, I finally got the chance to see every team here. So that's been good. But yeah, it's pretty much just been a lot of high school lately. We've been grinding out a lot of high school. Obviously, this year with Michigan and Michigan State probably both making the NCAA tournament.
Oh, yeah.
Things are going to get really hectic around here for the first time in a while.
Yeah.
When it comes to having to send people there, and the state finals are going on the same weekend as some of those tournament weekends, like Big Ten tournament and the first round of the NCAA tournament and all that stuff. So, yeah, it's going to get pretty crazy there. But, yeah, other than that, personal life's good. So, I told you, got my my 1 year with my girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
So going out to dinner after that. For
exactly.
This. Yeah, that's about it.
All right. No fast food, though, right?
No.
Where? I'm messing with him. He's not cheap.
I would not have a girlfriend.
Where are you going?
That was we're going to Leo's. So
Leo's. I love Leo's.
Excited to try it down there again. I haven't been there in a long time, so
I'm a big fan of Leo's.
Should be good.
Okay, good. She'll be happy with that.
I'm hoping so.
Yes.
So.
And does Sherry know where she's going? It's not a surprise, right?
No,
okay,
there's no surprise that. We're going somewhere else. We went on our first date after, but that's a whole other story.
Okay.
I'll save the crowd from hearing about my relationship.
All right. Sounds good. Okay. So we're going to talk about boys basketball districts this week, and then next week we're going to be back on to talk about girls basketball districts. Yeah. So first of all, let's talk about the new seeding process for boys basketball. So it's used in boys and girls basketball districts, and also they actually instituted it for soccer and hockey regionals as well. So basically, the top 2 seeds in each district are determined by the Michigan Power Rating Formula, which I've heard is based on kind of strength of schedule, record, how you place in the conference, things like that. So I guess it all depends on how many teams are in each district. So like in an 8-team bracket, obviously there's no buys for seeded teams. In a 7-team bracket, the number 1 seed receives the only bye, and in a 6-team bracket, both seeded teams get a bye. In a 5-team bracket, 1 additional random team will receive a bye. So that's kind of the way things are going this year.
If you had to take that in terms to people that don't understand every single
layman's terms.
Yeah. Yes.
The best teams for the most part.
The top 2.
Top 2.
Right. Yeah.
So they
get a bye.
Yeah. So we will start out
districts
in a very competitive district, which could be probably the best district, hosted by Muskegon Reese Puffer. You have Muskegon and Rockford in that district.
It's crazy.
Okay?
I mean,
so both top teams in the area this year. We've talked about them at length.
Oh, yeah.
And they both receive first-round byes. And then their teams square off. You got Cedar Springs, Greenville, Mona Shores, and Reese Puffer. And then Muskegon and Rockford will play the winners of those games.
Sure. No, that's crazy. I mean, yeah, we've talked about – Rockford surprised me being
okay, Red Champs.
I didn't really see that coming. Great season for them. They are an impressive team. Last time I covered them, we talked about it in the last time we podcasted. It was when they played Hudsonville. Yep. That kind of put Hudsonville on the radar, that game, I feel like, because now they've been in
they beat them.
Yeah,
did we talk about that? It's been 2 weeks since we've been here. We did talk about that. Hudsonville being in Rockford.
I think I covered the game the night before that. And that was a big surprise. I don't think a lot of people saw that coming. Yep. They got out to that 24-8 lead. But, yeah, that put Hudsonville in a lot of people's top 10-ish range, right around that 10 marks. That was a really, really big win for them. So there's someone to be talked about, too. But, Muskegon obviously was towards the top the start of the season. They've kind of fallen a little bit lower, but everybody knows how good Muskegon can be. They just won a state title recently. So, I would expect that to be probably the most exciting division that
next Friday night we should be seeing Muskegon against Rockford. One of the really, really good teams around this area is going to be knocked out in the district finals.
And that's where it's kind of fun to have the rankings now like they have, because I'm sure some people from Muskegon have beef with them being ranked up there compared to
Yeah.
them. Maybe from teams that they've played that they think are tougher or whatever the reason is. You get the chance to prove it right out there in the court. So if you want to prove that you're better than what the ranking system says, there you go, is your chance. So
yes,
that's definitely one that'll have all of its eyes on it in the area. No question about it.
Yep. We'll go through some other Division I districts. Holland is hosting a district with Grand Haven, Holland, West Ottawa, Zeeland East, and Zeeland West. Zeeland West, obviously, way down this year. I think I saw the record was 1-20 after reaching the state semis.
Yeah, I can't say I've been
Or
sent to one of their
last year?
games yet this year.
Okay.
So
Zeeland East is a little bit down. I think Grand Haven's the top team in that district.
for sure, they've got it going in guys and girls basketball right now. So
Yeah.
things are going right over there on the lake shore.
Yep. We move on to Granville. We have Granville, Hudsonville, Jenison, Kennewood Hills, and Coopersville. We already talked about Hudsonville. I would kind of see that as a Granville-Hudsonville district final, and I know that Granville boys has not won districts in many, many, many
A long
years.
time, and they'd have a chance to do it. It'd be kind of any given night sort of thing. Even though Hudsonville is kind of on the up right now.
Yeah.
Sometimes you peak too early, so you never know. I mean, if Granville can get there, that definitely would be a good chance for them. But yeah, I don't really see anybody else making it out of that from what I've seen and who I've covered. I definitely would expect it to be those two teams in that game. But again, you never know. That's the fun of the time of the year.
Yeah. Another really good district. Northview is Northview Division I?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I'm looking at these schools. Another really good district is Northview is hosting a district with them, Eastern Rapids, Forest Hills Central, which is really good. Forest Hills
been great all year.
Northern, Union, and Lowell.
Yeah, South Christian did just get Northview the other night, and that was a pretty
Yes,
big win
I saw
for them. That's so Northview. That was probably the most surprising loss because they, like I said, they always have a really, really tough schedule every year, and I've covered them, and even in their losses, they've looked really good. They've played really good teams. Carson Viss is great. Obviously, he had a huge game that night against Northview. But,
Brady Schwartz played well too.
Yeah, exactly. So they both, obviously going against each other. It's a fun matchup. But I wouldn't have said that I would like just Northview's overall talent though. I think that they might have more than what South Christian has.
Yeah.
Not that night. Carson was able to carry him to the victory. I think it was 73-68. So yeah, they're definitely Northview has had its ups and downs all season for being a team that's kind of been consistently talked about by us.
Yep.
I still believe they have a run in them. I think when push comes to shove in the postseason, they've played in so many close games. I still like them to make a run.
Yeah, Brendan Cargill at Forest Hills Central. I see a Forest Hills Central Northview district final.
100%. Yeah, and I would give the edge to Northview, but again, Forest Hills Central has some kids that can shoot it for real, and Cargill, he can do it all from every part of the floor. He can shoot it from the baseline everywhere. So they have some pretty good players over there too, and it should be a good one.
Yeah, and as we know, there's always some surprises, right? Last year, Rockford was knocked out in districts by a team that they weren't supposed to lose to. So, like we talk about a lot, it's February madness just for the first week, but anything can happen in any game and any night. A team can not shoot the ball well, turnovers. Another team can play the best game they played all year and upset somebody.
No, there's been. I mean, I think this will probably be my 6th or 7th year in a row going to the Breslin to cover the state finals, and I think every year I've had at least one team from this area that I necessarily didn't expect to get there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's still a team that you would expect to be competitive. Usually, it doesn't in basketball. Usually, when you're dominant, you're really, really good. But sometimes, again, you can just get beat on one night, and that's it. Gets you going.
Yep.
It's all about momentum this time of year, and the teams that have it are the ones you got to look out for.
Yeah. We're talking about Hudsonville. They're up to number 3 in one of the power polls that I look at behind Rockford and Muskegon. So, yeah, they've really jumped up as you talked about earlier.
You go get a win against Rockford. I mean, Rockford was thought about so highly, but I saw that they were number 1 in the state in a lot of rankings. I was a little surprised, I'm not going to lie. But just because, I mean, we only see the teams from around here.
Yeah.
The teams on the east side of the state that I have watched throughout the season, I try to think about, well, if they played each other, what would it be?
Yeah.
Rockford didn't compete in a lot of those games this year, so it's hard to say what they would do against teams like that in some of those stages. So it'll be interesting to see. But Hudsonville getting them, that was kind of a thing for me to be like, I don't know. We'll see who really is number 1, I guess, through this tournament.
Oh, 100%. One more Division I district is at Wyoming, which I think this is actually, this could be Byron Center, I think, might be the favorite here. Got Byron Center, Caledonia, East Kentwood, which is down this year, Ottawa Hills, Thornapple, Kellogg, and Wyoming. Wyoming's had a pretty good season. Obviously, they're kind of they're running gun, and they've had a really nice record and a nice season. So, Byron Center, Wyoming, maybe.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see that. It's definitely a possibility. That if you were to ask me what division I think is like the most equal with a lot of their teams. I think that's one where you could see a lot of air quote upsets, because I think a lot of those teams can beat each other on any given night. It's not like as top heavy as probably Rockford or Muskegon. So it's definitely one that's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, Byron Center, they have some kids that we've talked about a few times in the show that just have a lot of experience and have been there before, and they want to get back to winning their district. So I would definitely expect them to be there. And who they play, I think that's more up in the air, but Wyoming's not a bad one to pick, that's for sure.
Yeah. Byron Center hasn't won a district in a while either, I think. And obviously the football success they had, has kind of tumbled over to basketball. Yep. And they have such a tough conference that they're in, and they play some really good teams. Their schedule has been really, really tough, but I definitely think that's a team that can get through.
No, that's why I said, like, a lot of kids that on that team that have a lot of experience, whether it is in other sports or not, they know how to win and they want to win. That's why they go out there. So, I would expect them to try to get back to that height with the basketball program.
Okay, let's go to Division II, which this is a very intriguing district. And we're going to talk about a big upset from last week. I'm not sure if you were there, but Hamilton beat number 1 ranked Uni Christian in overtime.
I was not at that. I covered Uni Christian, what was that, 2 nights ago?
Yeah, so that was Valentine's Day.
Yep.
So Hamilton showing no love.
I did work that night. I trying to recall what you...
Yeah.
There's a lot of games that mix up when you're working like every night at different high schools.
You killed my pun there, though. Hamilton showing no love to Unity for being the number one.
I'm sorry. I should have caught that. I'm sure
you should know that.
I'm sure everybody's laughing at that one. So.
I just love my own puns.
No, it's good, dude. I'm glad you're laughing.
What a great win for Hamilton, and maybe a wake-up call for Uni Christian.
Yeah, no, for sure, 100%. Like they did come out and play pretty well the other night against Holland Christian, so I guess if they needed to be woken up. I was pretty impressed the way they played against Holland Christian. It was a team that seemed to match up very evenly with them. I hadn't had the chance to watch Holland Christian yet this season, but they were neck and neck with them all the way through the third quarter. Then Unity kind of just went in a run and pulled away.
Yeah,
they definitely have a lot of pieces in that team, and they share the ball really well. That's what impressed me the most about them. I think they can pass it just as good as anybody else, like up there with like a Rockford. They are very similar in that way that there isn't like one star. It seems like every night. Maybe they have a couple guys they favor to have the ball in their hands towards the end of the game. But everybody on that team seems to be able to shoot it and contribute in some way. So definitely impressive team basketball that Unity's put together. And Hamilton getting a win against them says everything right there, right? When a team can play well as a team, that usually is the hardest kind of team to beat. When they don't just have one guy that they go to every single time and look to. Huge win for Hamilton for sure.
Yeah, Uni Christian, I think at this time of the year you need that balanced scoring, right? You're not going to rely on 1 or 2 players to kind of get through this state tournament and the grind. It's going to take everybody contributing, scoring, defense, rebounding, and like you said, being connected and playing together.
Well, end of the game, it comes down to a final shot, say.
Yeah.
Everybody, especially at this age, like if you get if they send that many guys at you to basically make sure that person doesn't shoot the ball, somebody's going to be open in the corner, and that's the person that's going to have to hit the shot.
Yep.
And that's why it's so important to me at this time of the year in basketball to, play team basketball. And that's why you see some of the best teams that usually make it far having 5 guys that can score at any time. So, it's definitely impressive what Unity's been able to put together. And if they needed a wake-up call, I think they got it. But they're well coached over there, and I think they'll be ready to go for the tournament.
Yeah. So that district also has Catholic Central. So maybe we'll see a Uni Christian Catholic Central final. Covenant's in there for the first time. They got jumped up to do Division II this year. Obviously, I've seen Covenant play Tri-Unity. Covenant's, they're solid. West Catholic's in the mix there. Wyoming Lee. Allendale's had actually a pretty good season, so they can surprise somebody in that district. But I think your favorites have got to be Unity and Catholic Central.
Yeah, 100%. Catholic has had some tough losses. Under a new coach this year, maybe it's it's hard to say what they're going to do in the postseason, not having the leadership from Muirman anymore. It'll be interesting to see how they handle that and how they go with it, because they have plenty of talent. Every time I've watched them play, they've impressed me. I must not see them on the nights when they lose, so I don't know if I'm their good luck and bad luck. But whenever I've been there, they've been really, really impressive. So I do expect them to make it back there, and I wouldn't be surprised if they moved on.
South Christian's hosting a district. They are definitely, I think, the favorite in this group of teams. You have Grandpa's Christian, who's obviously lost some talent from last year. Had a good they've had a good season, right? But not as good, obviously, as the last few years. But they're still, a team that could.
No, another team that's challenged themselves plenty of times. They're scheduling. Both times I've covered them, it's been at those big tournaments, like at Cornerstone or Aquinas and stuff like that, where they kind of try to put the best teams, whether it is locally or in some of those other ones where it's from the east side of the state. they play against tough teams. So Grand Rapids Christians should be battle tested by now. And again, they have great leadership as well. So I expect them to be a team that could maybe surprise some people because, again, I don't think anybody's really talking about them to make any kind of run right now.
No. Yeah, I think, yes. So South Christian does have to be the favorite, I think, in that. And to our audience, we love all the teams in our coverage area. We're just kind of giving our opinion who we think is going to make it through the district.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, so we just make sure we understand that.
No, I'm always going to tell you how it is. So
100%.
That's the way it goes.
Hamilton coming off that big win over Unity. They have Hastings, Holland Christian, Hopkins, and Wayland in their district. So it'll be interesting to see if Hamilton can kind of use that momentum from the Unity win and win that district at home.
Again, that's the biggest thing you can have this time of year, in my opinion, is momentum. So they're definitely a team that prove that they can win big games. So we'll see what they can do.
Yep. Division 3, we don't have a lot of top teams in Division 3 that I'm looking through right now. North Point Christian. This one actually might be pretty good. You have North Point Christian hosting. You have North Point Christian, Wellspring Prep, who I've seen. Calvin Christian is an young but an up-and-coming team.
Sure.
Western Michigan Christian, North Muskegon, and Potter's House. So, you know what? I might give the edge to Calvin Christian, but I haven't seen.
Now, Calvin's a program we spend a lot of time covering. So usually every year they have a competitive team. But yeah, I mean, the rankings are what they are, and the people that make the decisions above us. But
exactly.
Yeah, they're at least on the MHSAA site, Division 3, we don't have anybody in the top 20. Yep. So definitely a division that if they were to move on, it would be a surprise to most people. But that's what makes it the best stories. So
100%.
Hopefully something goes that way.
Yep. And I hate to wrap up with the Division 4 and Tri-Unity. However, number 1 ranked team in Division 4, is that what you have?
Yeah. I got number 2
Number
on
2, who's ahead of us?
Website, so
who's ahead of us?
Crystal Falls, Forest Park.
Oh, yes. They've actually had a really, really good season.
What do you think about Tri-Unity? Are they good? Or
I think they're pretty good. I've seen a lot of their games this year.
I can tell you from a non-coaching standpoint, not being on the sideline, that they are pretty good. And every game that I've watched, their defensive intensity, I think, is what wins you guys a lot of games, and it's awesome to watch. But again, this is Mark's last year. I think every kid in that team wants to give it everything they have. So 100%. I would be absolutely shocked if I'm not covering them at the Breslin Center. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I think we're playing our best basketball this season right now. Like you talked about, defense is such a key and something that Coach Keeler preaches, and something that obviously I'm a big defensive coach, and my JV team is something we really, really stress as well, because they have to, even with the new coach coming up, Brent Voorhees, he's going to be teaching the same principles as far as defense goes, right? So you have to be able to play defense and rebound. And so I think our team's playing or peaking kind of right now and doing the necessary things. But I think you're right. Tomorrow night's going to be kind of an emotional game for Coach. It's our last regular season game at home against Potter's House. And basically, Tri-Union had invited all former players of Coach Keeler in his 38 years to come to the game. There's going to be an open house afterwards where they can, get in line and talk to Coach a little bit and share memories and kind of congratulate him on the career he's had. So tomorrow night's going to be
awesome.
And one more little plug. The girls varsity team at Tri-Unity will be playing for their first ever conference championship tomorrow night against Paris House. So tomorrow night's going to be a pretty big deal.
For sure. No, but I mean, back on Mark, that's an unbelievable accomplishment. And I think it says a lot to be able to even do something like that. It's a Division 4 high school, right? So you think of it as a smaller school.
Yeah.
That's what's so special about teams like that doing good, because when you go to those games, the atmosphere is just as good as any. I mean, people show up for that basketball program. That's because of something he's built. So I think that says a lot about him. And to be able to even say for, 38 years?
38 seasons.
To be able to say, to players to come back from that many, that's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't ever hear stories like that at the high school level. So that's awesome for Mark. Way to build something up there, and it should be a really good night for you guys.
Yep.
So I'm sure when he'd tell you those, he wants it to be a win. So make sure you get that done too.
100%. It should be a fun night.
Yeah.
So, well, hey, thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you guys next week about girls basketball, and we'll go from there. All right.
Absolutely. Talk to them.
All right. Bye.